What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The Podfather Nate here from the Journey into Comics podcast, the flagship show of the Journey into Comics network. I just want to make sure you guys know you can tune in every single Monday for a brand new episode of our show, where if it's comic book related, we've got you covered.
The following is a Journey into Comics network production.
Everyone, my name is Andrew Puhr.
I'm Liz Sturba.
And that is Max yawning near the microphone, because we're podcasting from the floor of my living room, and we're bringing you a new show.
Yep.
And Liz is sitting here over here drinking a nice shock top.
Because I'm an adult. God damn it.
Because we're an adults. We're an adults. We are adults. And this is an adulting podcast. The podcast is called Adulting Ain't Easy, because it's not.
It really isn't. This is rough.
Yeah.
Just talk about the roughness so that you guys don't feel so alone. Right, dear?
Right.
We're not so good at this.
This is fun. And I've been drinking vodka since I got home, because I'm trying to finish off the vodka in my fridge because we are moving soon.
Yes, that's one of the things that, us adults have to do is move and buy houses and buy lots of expensive things.
And plan a wedding.
And then pay for that wedding. And then pay for the honeymoon. And all the things in between.
Yeah, we actually have been looking at honeymoon stuff today.
Yeah, that's really depressing. Don't do it.
Just don't.
Just don't. Don't even think about it when you're, looking for vacations, because everything you look at right away is going to give you that shell shock, that sticker shock. Not worth it. Save yourself. Just
don't do it.
Just road trip it, because honestly, you'll never, ever see the actual price of anything. Because if you stay in places one night, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So, kind of get a little bit of background about us. You know a little bit about me because I have my other show on the network, The Puhr, which Liz routinely makes fun of me because of a very weird radio voice when I'm recording by myself.
Yeah, he kind of sounds like an NPR guy, like, "Hello, my name is Andrew Puhr, and I'd love to invite you to my podcast in my living room so I can talk about the news." So sometimes I wonder if he should have been a news anchor and just stopped the engineering stuff and just did the news.
Right, but sometimes you have to have a hobby, and my hobby, I guess, is talking about the news.
Whoop-de-doo. That's another thing you need as an adult. You need to know what the heck is going on.
Right, and that's a whole other topic, because Liz, as a teacher, has to deal with all the fallout of all the crazy stuff going on in the world.
Yep.
And
if you're a teacher in college, don't do it. Just kidding. You should do it, because it's good. But also, once you get to be a teacher, you just figure out how much it's terrible, but how much you're needed. It's a vicious cycle, my friends. Vicious cycle.
Yeah, but at least you have, 6 more days?
No, 5, thank God. And then I can complain about teaching all the way up until back to school. And then I can just complain even more about different things. Because with teaching, it's just a never-ending complaining cycle.
Right. I mean, you were just complaining tonight about...
Oh, parents. Yeah. Yes. Lots and lots of complaining about parents.
Right.
In this day and age.
Sometimes the kids, you love them, but the parents you just can't stand, right?
Yeah, but you gotta deal with them one way or another.
Right. And just take notes for when you become a parent. You're like, I will not be this person.
Yeah, definitely mental notes are being taken every single day.
Yes, and let's see, what else fun do we have going on? We're going to be taking our engagement photos tomorrow, because that's very fun and adult.
Yeah. Then you gotta buy clothes, because that's another thing you have to do as an adult. You have to buy your own clothes. I mean, up until I was a freshman or sophomore in college, my mother would just take me shopping. Now, not anymore. I have to use my own money to buy clothes. I even opened credit cards to companies because I like my clothes.
Or that Kohl's charge.
That Kohl's charge. Can't live with it. Can't live without it.
And Liz is going to shamelessly plug Royal and Reese right now, too.
Love it. If you haven't heard of it, it's an online clothing store that's sourced out of Bloomington Normal, Illinois. And they do, like, these flash sales of different clothing every night. And I'm obsessed. And it's more... The thing is, the clothes are super cute, which is good. But then also you get that thrill of the hunt. Like, oh my gosh, I need to do this right now so I can get the thing that I want. And then when you actually get it and submit your order, it's like victory. It's like the best kind of victory because you're like, I got what I wanted and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I'm going to have a cute outfit in the mail in 3 to 5 business days.
You can't beat that. That's next to Amazon Prime. That is a nice thing about adulting. You don't have to go into any stores. You can just be like, I want it. I'm getting this delivered to my door. I don't have to deal with any person. That's
another thing also with adulting is you have to socialize, which is like the worst thing for me. I mean, I guess I haven't really been on the network much, but with my personality, and you wouldn't guess this as me being a teacher, but I despise socializing, believe it or not. If I don't know you very well, it takes a lot for me to start talking and having conversations because in my mind, I am screaming, oh my gosh, I can't do this, and have all anxiety thoughts in my brain are there. And I know I'm not alone in that. So
definitely,
yeah, especially as an adult, because you got to socialize with everybody. Yep. It seems like.
Right. And sometimes that's the benefit of having some liquid courage, because alcohol definitely does loosen up the social skills and get some of the anxiety to go away. At least when you get that nice sweet spot, when you have a little too much, then it's worse.
Yes. Another thing, adulting topics, drinking, because guess what? We're not in college anymore. That means we have to be responsible. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, you have to... Because you have to be responsible for seeing your friends home okay if you're the sober one. If you're the DD of the night, you have to make sure everyone gets in the Uber, in the car, and they're like, you good to drive? All right, text when you get home. Don't throw up. You have to pick your passed out friend off your couch to get them to go home.
Or if you are that passed out friend, you get crap forever. No matter if it happened yesterday or it happened 5 years ago, you will still get crap about that night that you threw up in a garbage can in a gay nightclub. Not talking from experience or anything.
No, not taking a Chicago cab ride for about an hour from the city to the suburbs.
For $115 later, and I made it home.
Hey, but you can make some nice friends with the cab driver.
I guess so. I guess I fell asleep through the whole thing, so I have no idea. But yeah, there's that. And then you have the mom of the group, which I sometimes feel like I am, where if I am not the mother, I fear that the lives of my friends are threatened because they get very drunk, and I worry.
Yes. And kind of speaking of being the mother group, sometimes as an adult, there's kind of that fine line. Like when we first started dating, we were called grandma and grandpa by some people that we hung out with.
Rory, sorry. Yes, grandma and grandpa. See, my motherly instincts coming out now. So we have pets, so we're obviously fur parents, and the animals were just interacting, and sometimes when that happens, it could get a little bit hairy in terms of how they act towards each other. They can be really nice to each other sometimes, and they can be really not nice to each other.
Right. And that's one that'll be nice about when we have a house in the not too distant future, is that they'll have more space to go at. We'll have, one could be at one end of the house, one could be in the other, one could be in the attic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Their cats are weird.
Yeah.
But I guess, Liz, when did you first realize that you were an adult? You said, like, when your parents stopped buying your clothes.
Well, I guess the first time I really, really thought I was an adult was when my mother had to remind me, you need to pay your taxes. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you have to pay your taxes. And I was like, but you just tack yours on to whatever you and Dad take to the accountant. She's like, nope, not this year. And so we had to go buy TurboTax, and now I'm an expert at TurboTax. I can do it. I did it for my brother. It's great. Yeah. But I think that plus being able to buy alcohol without getting my license checked, that's because I guess you don't see my face, but I kind of look younger. I can look anywhere from my actual age, which is 25, or I can look like a little 18-year-old, depending on how much makeup I'm wearing or what I'm wearing, because I have that youthful glow.
Right, and if I'm by myself, I usually never get carded, but if I'm with you, I get carded by association, which is always fun. Especially like when I turned 21, went to go buy a beer at the liquor store, it didn't even card me, but it was a campus liquor store, and I think people were buying alcohol at 17 and didn't bother anyone.
Well, we went to where we went to college, which is where we met, we went to a college that was basically, the town was basically like half college town, half Caterpillar, like employees. So a lot of the time, the high school kids would get on the action, those that lived there, because some of them looked like college kids and they can get away with more stuff
and get into those college parties.
Yep.
That's one thing that's interesting, because we've been dating. It'll be how many years in September?
6 years in September, believe it or not.
It'll be the last anniversary we'll celebrate probably in September, because really once you get married, you really don't celebrate the dating anniversary anymore.
Yeah, it'll just be a nice little oh, what day is today? The 29th? Great, that was when we started dating.
Right. So I don't think anyone really knows how we met, or might not even care. But we were both involved in Greek life in college.
Yeah.
I was a bit older than Liz, so...
You still are.
I'm still... You didn't catch up to me.
I can't ever be the same age as you at the same time.
Right, but I was a bit older at the time, and...
At the time, you're still older than me.
When you're outside of school, it doesn't really matter the age difference. But when we're in school, like, when we first started talking, you were technically still a teenager, and I was able to buy alcohol.
That's true. I was 18 when we started talking.
Yeah, you were 19, weren't you?
No, I was 18, because our first communication was in January of 2012, and I was 18.
True,
but we didn't turn 19 until April 2012.
Right, but we didn't start dating until you were already 19.
Correct.
And I was 3 years older than you, so I would have been 22. Yes. I was 22 before you were 19.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, that checks out.
Oh, gosh, I hope so.
All the fun.
Yep.
It's been a long day. It's been a long week. Work stuff is fun.
Hashtag adulting ain't easy.
Seriously. And that's kind of how we came up with the show. Because I remember the whole idea for the show came. There was some shake-up stuff with the network, and we were trying to get some new content out there. And I was just spitball idea, and I was like, Liz and I should just do a podcast about all this stuff I'm doing as an adult, all the wedding stuff and the house stuff, and
just life. Life as a mid to late 20s couple. What does that entail?
Yeah, and it's so bizarre, like where we are compared to like people, like our friends that are the same age as you or around your age to my age and that kind of thing are all at different levels. Like we have friends that are still living at home. We have friends that are living together, and we have friends like we're about to have a house and get married. It's just this interesting spectrum of our friends. Like, it's kind of an interesting thing because I've been living on my own.
2 years? 3 years?
It'll be 3 years. I'll be breaking my lease early, but yeah, another fun thing you do as an adult is break a lease so you can buy a house because no one wants to pay for two living places at once.
Even signing a lease and knowing what's going on in the lease and what you can and can't do and blah blah blah.
We could do a whole episode about dealing with cable companies because that's a whole nightmare in itself. Because if you're in the Midwest, like pretty much everyone on the network is, you probably have to deal with Comcast, and Comcast will be like, "Oh, we'll give you this rate for this year." And then when it elapses, we're gonna triple the cost of your package. You have to call and complain, and you have to threaten to quit for them to drop it down just a little bit, and they'll throw in HBO maybe to tide you over. But
yeah, I don't have to do that since I still live at home.
But
that's another thing. Living at home when you're over 22, you're 23 years old.
Right.
All sorts of things. I could think of a plethora of things to talk about.
Yeah, really probably one of the fun things probably was the hardest thing for you to shake was that after you'd graduated and were still living at home, you still sometimes would ask permission to go do things.
Oh my gosh. And my dad, that was like my dad's big not vendetta, but I guess like soapbox because he was like, because I'm living under their roof. My idea was that, I feel like they should know where I'm going. And, like, I live in their house. I don't want them to be upset if I come in at 3 in the morning or whatever. And so I would ask my parents permission, like, oh, yeah, like, can I go out with my friends, whatever? And they're like, after probably, like, only a month being home after graduation, my dad was like, just stop. You're 22 years old. 22. Yeah, I was 22. He's like, you're 22 years old. You're an adult. You can go. We don't care. You have a car. You pay for your gas. Just go. We don't care. We have nothing going on. So I guess that would be another time where I would say that I realized I was an adult, because I could just kind of come and go as I please. Because really, I don't really have rules at home. And I know that's not true for everybody, but at least with me, it's nice because my parents really don't care as long as I don't ruffle any feathers too often. Right. It doesn't matter.
As long as you don't bring home a gay throwing up person in the middle of the night to ruin their guest bath.
That's not fair.
He's fine. He's in Korea right now. He's doing good things.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But
we have our fun.
Yes.
But I think for me, when I felt like I was adult was probably when I moved out of my parents' house. When I made the move up here, moving hours and hours away from where I grew up and where I went after.
And you really, Andrew doesn't have any family up here in the Chicago suburbs. Really, it's just me and my family. Because, that's where I grew up, so
right.
That's where I wanted to go back to.
But I was able to get out and actually find a job that was actually using my degree, and I wouldn't have moved if it wasn't for that. It's convenient that it was close, but I was looking at jobs all around the Chicago suburbs, so I could have been an hour away still.
Right.
It's very likely. There's a job in, I think, Des Plaines, which is probably, 30 minutes away from you?
No.
Not that far?
Not even. It's 20? Not very far.
That's where your dad grew up. All the fun.
Yeah.
Over by where they filmed Breakfast Club.
Yes. Actually, they filmed Breakfast Club in my dad's high school before it closed. Now it's, I think, a police... It used to be a police headquarters or something. I don't know what it is now. It might be nothing. Who knows?
Thank you, root beer and vanilla vodka, because it's been sitting in our
your.
Well, no, you bought it for New Year's 2 years ago for pudding shots when we had our.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And it's been sitting there because you can't mix vanilla vodka with much.
No.
The other flavored vodka you mix with Sprite. You don't put vanilla vodka in Sprite. That would just be gross.
Yeah, I guess so.
I feel like you need like a cream soda or a root beer.
Although we did do it in college, we were very obsessed with rum chata, and so we decided to make all these vodka martinis with rum chata and different flavored vodkas. So don't knock it till you try it. It's actually pretty good. We
used to do some pretty when I had my place when I lived in the fraternity house, pretty much my whole time there after my freshman year. And I had a nice little setup. And I remember we made all those frozen coffee drinks with the chocolate vodka and the rum chata and the whipped cream and the iced coffee. They were delicious.
The good old days when we actually had time to sit and watch a blender and all that stuff. Now, if we tried to do that, because that was probably on a weeknight, if we tried to do that now, there would be no way. I would lose my patience in a second. Be like, why isn't this blender actually working? This is taking way too long. Or I'd complain about how the ice isn't crushed enough.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Dynamic is when you could have, when you're younger, when you're in high school and college and you have energy for days. And now, if people want to get together after 10 p.m., you're 10 p.m. It's I used to, I still sometimes do it, but I used to, always go to the movies late. Now it's well, there's a 9 o'clock or a 7 o'clock showing for the movie. Let's do the 7, because if we're going at 9, we're not.
But usually what's nice about being an adult and going to the movies is that now you can just drink at the movies or a lot of, at least around here, there's a lot of movie theaters near bars and you can just go drink afterwards. And you can't do that at some of these places are only open until 11. If you go to a 9 o'clock movie, forget it. You're not going to be able to do that.
That's the one benefit of being near Chicago is that bars are open late.
Well, most bars. Well, it depends on where you go.
Yeah, the city, I know in the city the bars are open forever, essentially.
Yeah,
but the suburbs are open until at least 2 or 3. And you feel a lot more accomplished when you close down a bar that closes at 3 than when it's You're
It's
leaving
an
at
11 o'clock bar. Woohoo! You get to stay till close.
and then you go.
And yeah. The hardest thing though for like being an adult is, and I guess being like in the mid-20s, is that if you get hungry, and I know this has happened to us a lot. Like our friends and us will go out, and it'll be like, I don't know, like 10:30, and someone will be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm hungry." Well, you try to go to a bar that has food. Guess what? Their kitchen closes at 9 o'clock, and you're out of luck. Then you think, maybe I'll go to a McDonald's. Guess what? Not all of them are 24 hours, and you gotta search around to find which one's a 24-hour and which is not.
Which is why I'll order a Bloody Mary at midnight, even though I don't want a Bloody Mary, just because I'll get some meat and cheese on it, and you're like, hey, it's some food.
Yeah.
Or you get the bar popcorn, which is just what you need when you're drunk, because it's just salty, and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah. Lots of the sad things that happen when you become an adult and you actually try to go out to the bars.
And there's actually going to be a lot probably we're going to be talking about, because as soon as we close on the house, then it's remodel time.
Ew.
And we've been taking pictures, and Liz has been giving me so much shit for being obsessed with yard drainage.
Oh my gosh. It's like really like out of anything else in this house, he is very concerned about how our water is going to be draining, which, I mean, I'm okay.
It's just very muddy, and we have a dog, and last thing I want is muddy footprints over carpet.
Yeah, but sometimes there's a lot more other things we should be worrying about, like if our roof is going to leak or if our basement is going to leak, because when we bought our house, we didn't know any of that. Well, we did know after the inspection, but...
Right.
And it's kind of funny, because when you do buy a house, there are some things that you're absolutely certain, like, yes, I am not going to budge on this, but then you actually get into a house that you like and see potential in, and then you let those kind of values that you start with kind of slip away.
So the house we're moving into, you were making fun of before we checked the place out.
Oh my gosh,
you were
much.
Obsessed with the double green stove.
It's still the most ugly thing I have ever seen. It's a double oven that's green, like avocado green.
Yeah, Liz could rant about the colors in this house.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible. We have a brown toilet, and it's not even dirty. It's
never
just brown.
thought about cleaning it. It's just going to be brown.
That's gross. I can't.
But there's a brown sink to go with it.
I know.
Liz just wants to rip it out.
I just want to rip everything out and start over.
And my dad's like, we show my dad's like, well, it's a gable roof, so you could really take all the walls out. Yeah. It's like, well, let's not go crazy,
especially because we don't have the budget to go crazy, right? At this
we could move the staircase to the basement. Well, let's just simmer down. But probably in the future when we record this show, we'll probably be recording it from probably the guest room / office that we're going to put together.
Yes, that's a good thing about being still I guess newly married, engaged, newly married, is that we don't have to worry about children yet. But, who knows? We could be doing this podcast long enough where we get to rant about children. This show will definitely evolve, because then I feel like it'll be like raising kids ain't easy, but there's other people on the network that do have children, and they're doing just fine from my position of not really even meeting any of these kids, but hearing them talk about it on their shows. Yeah. So I know, I think Nick has a kid from Bruise the Dudes who actually finished binging that show, 30 episodes in 4 days. It's a lot of shows to do, but it's good background noise good background listening when you're at work. And I know Tyler has a kid. I think Dick's girlfriend has a kid. Veronica has a kid. Who I still have yet to meet Veronica's kid, even though Veronica is the best. I'm assuming her kid's pretty awesome. You've met Veronica because you've actually only really met the Foodies group and the people at Sarah's birthday that were at just a little bit ago. Yes, and I was kind of and I was the youngest person there, so that's another thing.
Yeah, celebrating Sarah's birthday, and you're like, I'm 10 years younger than the birthday girl.
And I'm just like, this is really weird. Do I even have things in common with these people? And it's kind of funny because I actually did, and I was really shocked about that, because sometimes when you're looking at people that are older than you, you're like, no way, how could we ever get along? This is ridiculous. But then you get to know them and you talk to them and you're like, well, I guess we're not so different after all.
Yep. I know there's one thing that I think whoever's going to listen to this, I know a band that we're going to see this summer, you've been I've been wanting, because you heard someone else really like the band, hasn't seen them live, and you're like, how have they not seen them live?
Yes. Because that's crazy, because we've seen them 6 times and this is going to be number 7.
Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah. that's another thing. You got to be careful about what you spend your money on, because before, when we were not buying a house, we would go, what would you say? We would go to a decent amount of concerts, at least like once every 3 months or so. We would go most of the time it would be Coheed and Cambria because we've seen them 6 times, but we've gone to other things as well. But I mean, once we started when we were engaged, we kind of slowed down a bit because they get expensive, and you got to kind of pick and choose what things are more important to go see and which ones can kind of wait.
It's the reason I haven't bought tickets to go see Hamilton, because Hamilton is expensive.
Yes, and the Hamilton lottery is ridiculous.
I enter every day that I know we could probably make it. Even those Wednesday at 1:30, I'm like, if I get that, Liz will take the day off. There's no question.
Yep, I would.
I mean, we saw Book of Mormon was the only musical we've seen together.
Yes. Mostly,
we saw Little Shop in the community theater.
Yes, but I'm not much of a theater person or musical theater person, but sometimes when you're in a long-term relationship, you just have to deal with it. You find common ground, just like our obsession with books and my obsession with movies, and which is still really sad because I look at my empty DVD shelves because things you have to pack up and account for. It's like not just furniture and clothes. You're like, I have a lot of stuff. You really don't know until you're putting it in boxes how much stuff that actually is. Or if you actually go through your stuff and start purging, because I have found out recently that I am a bit of a pack rat, because I went through stuff that like I hadn't even looked at since I moved back home, which was 2 to 3 years ago. And I just look at this stuff and I'm like, why the heck did I keep this? And then it's just like toss pile. And then because I'm not home and I'm not very concerned about the cleanliness of my bedroom at this point in time, it's like I look in my room, there's this giant pile of just stuff, like clothes and random knickknacks of whatever. And it's just stuff just there, and you're just like, man, why did I even keep all this stuff?
Right. That's something I found as I've been packing, because I went from having a pretty decent sized room, because there was a room for 2 people that I had by myself in college. I moved to my bedroom I had in high school, and it somehow fit all of that stuff I had acquired into this small space. Then,
that was amazing, by the way. He had like I would say, I don't know, this room in the fraternity house was pretty big, and he at least went down a third of the size when he went back to his parents'
without
house.
really purging much of the stuff.
Exactly.
I had a 7-foot tall bookcase in a bedroom that was next to my bed that you couldn't even access the 2 lower shelves, and it was still full. And somehow, as soon as I went into the apartment, it all just stretched out. Yeah. Without really acquiring too much new stuff. So I don't know how I managed to fit all that. And then
that was impressive.
And I'm going to go from 700 square... Is that my... Yeah, 700 square feet to... How big?
1,800 square feet.
So...
Woo-hoo!
Plus a basement. And we can have I can not have my Christmas tree in my closet anymore, which will be so exciting.
You can spread out. Thank goodness.
And it'll be nice. And Liz will actually get to jump from living in having a bedroom at her parents' house to having a house to take care of.
Yeah.
Which will be...
But, I mean, it's not like I haven't done it before. When I was in college, I lived in a house with 5 other girls, and then I also lived on my own in an apartment for a half a semester. So it's not like I'm unfamiliar with it.
You've had you lived at home, you lived in a dorm, you've lived in a sorority house, you've lived in an apartment, you lived off campus in a house that was on like the edge of the street next to a Papa John's and a Dunkin' Donuts. Was it a Papa John's?
No, it was a Domino's. Those stupid people would not, even though we would order pizza, they wouldn't deliver it. We had to walk across the street to get it. God,
and sometimes they don't have carry out after certain times. You're like, can you just walk out to the parking lot and I'll just meet you? Like, I can see you from the window. I can see in your store. Like, let's make this work. Mm-hmm. And that's back when in college they had those nice like $7 pizza deals for campus.
Ugh, just thinking about that makes my stomach hurt.
It's the same reason Liz can't do Little Caesars pizza. What does your dad call Little Caesars?
Little Squeezers, because it just gives you the mad poops. The mad poops.
Little Caesars, it's good for the money. $5, get a pizza, get 2 meals out of it. It's fine.
No, absolutely not.
It's like the same reason of having is getting the 32-ounce Miller Lite. You're getting 32 ounces of beer because you want to get drunk, but you're paying $3 for it because it's Miller Lite.
Yeah.
So it's why I like my Blue Moon, but I know at certain bars I'm to pay $10 for it, but I can get a cheap beer for a couple bucks at a bar, and bar prices for booze is expensive. Sometimes you pay more for one drink at a bar than you would for a 6-pack at home, which is just unfair.
Yeah, but that's the price of being adults.
And it's just nice sometimes to feel like we're in a couple weeks we're going to be going to the Mundelein Craft Beer Fest, which will be
woohoo.
Get a pretzel necklace and just try all the different types of beer.
Yeah, because you can do that when you're over 21.
Yeah, really, really good. And I think we just crossed the 30-minute mark for the podcast. And this is probably the time we're going to probably shoot for, is keep it between 30 and 40 minutes. I don't know how often we're going to do the show.
Hopefully monthly, because guess what? We're adults.
Right.
And we've got things to do.
It might be monthly. I might be able to, of course, listen to every 2 weeks, but that'll be the best we can do. I have my show that I do weekly, the Puhr Report, and I do Foodies every other week. I don't think I have it in me to do 2 weekly shows and a bi-weekly show. A monthly show would be nice, but we'll see what we do. It might be irregular. We'll kind of figure out our schedule, because I know once we're in this home remodel mode, we're going to be busy, and then once we're within a couple months of the wedding, we're going to be busy with that. Liz is going to have fittings and running all that stuff down and picking out.
Liz has to have fittings, so do you.
I do,
I'm
but
not the only one in
True,
this.
but I get to go to like Men's Warehouse and be like, so how's it look? Good? All right. Send it to the other guys. Have them try it on. So
yeah.
it'll be good. And I'm sure we'll have tons of stories and fun things to talk about as we get to that. Oh, but I have questions that I told Dick that we would answer for him. So let me just run through these really quick. At what point are we going to need the 2 trains leaving 2 different locations math problem?
Oh, like every time you try to get into the city of Chicago, that's for sure. Because literally it could be 2 different trains that you're waiting for. You just don't know.
Definitely. At what point is it unacceptable to ride a merry-go-round alone?
When there are no little kids in the general vicinity of you. If there are kids in front of you, go ahead. Who cares? They might think that they're your kids. But if you have, if there are kids that are 5 people in front of you, no way.
Yeah, don't be that person who's
You don't want to end up on one of those Dateline shows.
Definitely. Let's see. Why do we pay taxes? Because things cost money, and some of those taxes go to pay for Liz's job.
Not many of them.
Not much money.
Taxes are just a scam.
Why is bacon, God's greatest gift to mankind, so freaking expensive?
It's not. It's not. I'm sorry. I'm probably in the very small minority of people that don't really care for bacon.
I love bacon. I don't like that it's expensive, but one day I bought a whole package and it was going to expire, so I cooked it all up at once, and it was delicious. Another question. Why don't we get naps every day? I wish we could.
I could get naps every day if I wanted to, but I choose not to because some things are more important, like watching the latest episodes of Paranormal State or reading my book so I can finally be done with it, even if it's terrible.
You will never put a book down even if it's terrible. You will finish that book.
Yes, because it's one of those OCD things. Just can't do it. I can't leave a book unfinished.
No.
Even if it's terrible.
Right. I will not hesitate to put a book down. Same thing, you don't really stop a movie if you can help it. You finish that movie. I've only watched a movie once, that was because my friends were going to ditch me. Is there really a wrong time to be drunk in public?
No. Well, yes. I would say if you're at a funeral, because that's super awkward.
Yeah, don't. You can get drunk after a funeral, just not during a funeral.
Yes.
And probably, let's see.
During church, you don't want to be drunk during church because you have to be quiet and listen. And you can't just yell out, because I'm one of those people that like to get loud when I'm drinking.
And probably don't be drunk at a playground during the day.
Yeah, because then people will give you looks, and then kids will think,
right,
I want to do what that kid's doing.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions. Oh, there's one other question about why don't we have robot maids yet? They're called Roombas, and I wish they were more like the robot from the Jetsons.
Don't do it, because if Black Mirror has taught me anything, is that do not put more pressure on technology, because they're trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Killer bees.
Killer bees. And one thing that's really interesting about... We're actually recording this on our date night. We actually schedule one day a week, because we don't live together yet, where we get together, we make a meal, or we go get food, and then we watch our shows. Like, we watch our Joel McHale show, we watch our Black Mirror.
Sometimes we watch Santa Clarita. We were watching Speechless, but apparently it's over now.
We watch Atypical on Netflix. We have shows we'll watch together, and we're still, like, 4 seasons behind on Game of Thrones. I want to get Liz into Westworld, which I'm still behind on, so I don't have HBO. But once we live together and we'll get the nice cable, because Liz wants all of her Destination America and her Travel Channel and her ID.
Then every night is date night. Woohoo!
Every night's date night, and then all the movies.
And then Andrew will just slowly start to hate me.
No, I can never hate you.
Aw, so sweet.
Well, I think that'll do it for this week. Stay tuned. We're going to be bringing shows to you as soon as we can. This will probably roll out at some point in the not too distant future. We got to get an intro done and a bumper and all that stuff that Nate, the Podfather himself, would like to do for us. But in the meantime, I'm Andrew Puhr.
The Podfather.
You've never heard him be called that?
No, that is so weird.
I still have to add you to the network feed.
Oh gosh. Well, anyway, I'm Liz.
Yeah, and that's Adulting Ain't Easy.
'Cause it sure as hell isn't.